Shalom, Akim. First and foremost, on again, by giving all praise, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakwadash, double honors once again to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, who taught me this truth. This is Naaman from the DC camp. And as you can see here on the screen, this is from silverdoctors.com. Wow, what can you say but, hey, we told you so. All right. And you're going to see and hear a lot of that. All right. If you hadn't said that to yourself as of late with all that's going on with this coronavirus, all right, and everything's being shut down. Hey, this is just the beginning. All right. And you're already seeing an occasion here and there where people are just losing it. All right. Especially in these stores. All right. Like I said, it's going to get worse. This is martial law light. National Guard begins distributing food to individual homes. All right. Dated today, March 19th, it says the Infantry Brigade Combat Team will be delivering food to a neighborhood near you. Now is the time to go full gray man if you have not already. And gray man is a term that, well, let's get it here real quick. As soon as here we go. All right. Gray man. Yep, here it is. Gray man theory. All right. Gray man tactics, how to hide in plain sight. The gray man theory as a way of disappearing into the crowd so you can move unnoticed when disaster strikes. The idea is that you can conceal your preparedness by blending in with the crowd before or during an emergency. Now, I gotta, get on Gray Millstone, some of you, for referencing movies, but the original idea in the Terminator movies, we all know that the idea or concept was stolen from an Israelite woman. But the original theory behind that was the assassin was going to be someone that was following this concept here. Someone able to blend in, someone that's an everyday sort of person, someone that wouldn't stand out as Arnold did, all right? And that person was in the original cast. I'm not going to say who it is. That's for you, all right, on the lighter side of things, But that person was a well-known actor. I'm not going to say who it was. But he was supposed to, like I said, be unassuming, all right? Again, but back to the video. It says, while it is generally referred to as the gray man theory, this theory can, of course, be applied to anyone, man or woman of any age, who needs to blend into a crowd amidst a disastrous situation to conceal the fact that they have survival skills and or are carrying tactical gear. When you think of blending in with the crowd, it's generally a negative, right? Nobody wants to be just like everyone else. You want to be unique, to stand out, that is, until there's an emergency and you're the only one prepared. As a prudent prepper, you'll be ready when disaster strikes, but what will everyone around you be doing? All right. Now, if you're the sort that likes to put everything on the internet, well, wow, your face is well known now and everybody knows what the fuck you got because you were stupid enough to put it on the internet. All right. It's one thing to, wow, it's it's really no good way of saying this, but you should have kept your shit to yourself. All right. Because number one, and the big thing about prepping is you have no idea when things are going to kick off. Second, you have nowhere where you are in relation to all the shit that you set up, your home base, when things kick off. So in all actuality, you did all that work in prepping for someone else, not yourself. You have no idea if you're even going to be alive. All right? It says in states of panic, people become desperate, and desperation can lead people to do whatever it takes to stay alive. At this point, you certainly don't want to be singled out as the one person who is prepared for survival. What did I just say? All right. So we got that straight. Gray man. All right, let's go back to the article. It says, I really wish I had some good news to report. I don't. It's getting worse out there. We're not even 4 days into President Trump's extremely disingenuous, notice he crossed that out, so-called 15-day plan, and we already see the military beginning to take over control of the food supply, which is something for you people that fell for all this bullshit and when they scared everybody to agreeing with them, number one, with the Patriot Act and those bills that followed, all right? And the big one is the National Defense Preparedness, that thing, all right? And it's got, see, you're dealing with the elites and everybody with all these think tanks. What do you think they sit around here doing? They've had, we get down to the executive orders from decades ago to address this thing. So this is something that they've thought about, again, for decades. They've, well, what if this happen? Here's what we're going to do. If this happens, you know, again, going back to these think tanks, all right? While everybody's all self-absorbed and they fell for the okie doke that this society in general, from all your leaders, all right, you really thought they had your best interest at heart. And now you're coming to find out way too late, all right, that no, nothing ever good was going to come about this. And you're about to figure out now, all right, I'm going to get into some scriptures about these pangs, as in Pangs, all right, and we're going to talk about some of these things that are yet to come. But, all right, there at the door, knocking, all right. It says, here's the latest example from WBNS. It says, Columbus, Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine, I guess that's how you say it, has signed a proclamation that will activate approximately 300 personnel from the Ohio National Guard to support efforts due to COVID-19. According to a press release, the soldiers will support the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services and Ohio Association of Food Banks around Ohio. They will be transporting, packaging, and distributing food to home in vulnerable areas. All right, vulnerable areas, community-based locations, and partner agencies in rural counties. All right. So for all those that, and it goes both ways. People in the cities are like, damn, I wouldn't want to be in the country, but the people in the rural areas are like, well, those idiots in the cities, and really the people in the rural areas have more of a point, a more legit point, because these cities, it's much easier, all right, to control the population, all right. Everything works on grids, as is due to rural areas, but it's more spread out, all right. And when shit hits the fan in the cities, hey, just think purge, all right. You have to have the Most High, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai with you, and a lot of people are going to find that out because, like I said, all these things were taken in consideration decades ago. All right. Continuing on, it says there have been reports of other National Guardsmen and Guardswomen getting involved in other states as well, such as in New York. All right. Again, these people are like, well, it's going to blow over and blah, 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 because you believe the so-called talking heads. So let's get some scriptures here. And you're being lulled into a sense. All right. As soon as this loads, I don't understand. Here we go. So we're going to go to 1 Thessalonians. You got it. Chapter 5, verse 3. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right, and this is why we've been out there on the days, some longer than others. All right, here it comes across the screen here. All right, something happening in California. All right, and this is all about keeping your eyes open. All right, watching for the signs. Remember, Matthew 24th chapter, Luke 17th chapter. All right, it tells you, of course, no man knows the exact time, not even the Son of the Most High Yahweh Shai, all right? But he gave you things to look out for as a sign of the end is growing increasingly near, all right? And this is the thing, because when you enter the scriptures and the Spirit is with you and you understand these things, all right, your eyes are open, all right, as opposed to the other people because they've been intentionally blinded. All right, verse 4 says, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief." All right, because we've been telling you, let's go to Habakkuk now. All right, because you're out there, you're fanning your hand, you're saying, "Oh, those guys are crazy." All right, this is Habakkuk, but this is what we're doing. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. "I will stand up on my watch, all right, and set me up on the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved." Verse 2, "And the Most High Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, all right, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it." All right? "Because it will surely come, it will not tarry." And a lot of people lost their faith. All right? All right? Again, this is the whole basis for this thing. Faith. Hebrews 11th chapter. All right? You have to have faith. Faith, perseverance. All right? All these things are interlinked. All right? So now we got that. Let's go to Isaiah. We talked about those pangs, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 26. Let's see. Because these things, all right, I talk about those pangs, all right? It says, verse 17, "Like as a woman with child," and we all know she has her labor pains, all right? They come in decreased increments over time. They may start out being spaced, and as that time for delivery gets nearer and nearer, those time intervals decrease, all right? "Like as a woman with child that draweth near the time of her delivery is in pain and crieth out in her pangs," all right? "So have we been in thy sight, O Most High Yahweh." Let's go into pangs. All right. Here we go. Strong's H 2256. Cabal, Court Rope Territory Band Company, or a measured portion, lot, port, region. All right. Pain, sorrow, travail. All right. Sorrows. That's what's coming. Destruction. All right. And that's what we're talking about. And there's more yet to come. Okay. So let's go back to the article, because I want to get a second one here when we talk about these executive. Oops, that's not the one. The executive orders. All right. And it says the end 2020. It says government will use anti-hoarding laws. When I talked about the preppers, right, to take your food, water, and supplies. And this is also dated today. All right. It says on April 5th, 1933, with a desperate nation in the throes of the Great Depression. What I tell you about, they planned this for decades. All right. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102, forbidding the hoarding of gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates within the continental United States. The effect of the order, in conjunction with the statute under which it was issued, was to criminalize the possession of monetary gold by any individual, partnership, association, or corporation, and at any time when Americans were desperate to regain lost wealth. The order was issued to allow the Federal Reserve to bypass restrictions contained in the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. All right, regarding the amount of gold reserves it had to retain in retaliation to the amount of Federal Reserve notes, dollars, it was creating. Fast forward to 1994, then President Bill Clinton issued an executive order that combined a number of laws that would take effect in the event martial law was declared. One of the laws including in his order EO executive order. Yep, here we go. 10998 permits the federal government to seize hoarded food supplies from both public and private holders. So we know the latest incarnation of this bill has been in effect since 1994, President Clinton, his first term. All right. Preparedness hacks. Well, never mind that. Let's keep on going. It says some people may feel the federal government does not have the right to confiscate stored food in the event of a national emergency where access to food is limited. They believe the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, here we go, believing in that bullshit, which prohibits unreasonable search and seizure, protects their privacy, and should be upheld to protect their food supplies even if other people do not have access to food in a disaster. And ordinarily they would have a point, but you got to consider, like I said, a lot of people still believe in this bullshit, to put it bluntly. All right? This whole thing is a carefully crafted illusion. I've heard that some people just downright say it's communism with democracy as a mask. All right? And again, they have a point. They've accused, what's that term in psychology? Projectionism. All right, when you have a problem, but you're constantly attributing what your problem is on someone else. All right. It says only that's not going to be the case, as any declaration of martial law would essentially nullify any constitutional protections and civil rights that inhibit the government from self-preservation and preservation of the civil society. All right. In fact, the government's hand, not yours, was strengthened even further in March 2012 when President Barack Obama signed the National Defense Resources Preparedness. I put it the other way around. Put preparedness in front of resources. It says the National Defense Resources Preparedness Executive Order, which grants the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Labor, the Department of Defense, and other agencies complete control of all U.S. resources, including the ability to seize, confiscate, or redelegate resources, materials, services, and facilities as deemed necessary or appropriate to promote the national defense as delegated by the following agencies. Included in the order is all farming equipment, all forms of energy and energy production, food resources, which means all food commodities, all water resources, and so forth. Get the picture? What's more, under the order, all Americans are automatically registered with the government according to their skill level. So, like the military draft, they can be forced to perform jobs and services the government deems vital to the nation's functioning as part of the National Defense Executive Order. So this is just a really nice way of saying you're slaves and you're going to be forced into slave labor to perform slave labor. Let me read that again. What's more, under the order, all Americans are automatically registered with the government according to their skill level. So, like the military draft, they can be forced to perform jobs and services the government deems vital to the nation's functioning as part of a national defense executive reserve. And by the way, it won't just be your food and water the government will take. If you've stored fuels, weapons, medicines, and other supplies, Uncle Sam will help himself to those items too, leaving you nothing but dependent and vulnerable. I remember I used to like, y'all might remember the show called Leverage with Timothy Hutton. What's the one that played the actress? I think her husband was a senator. He got in trouble years ago from Illinois. Her name is Jerry Ryan. She played 7 of 9 on Star Trek Voyager. And who else did you have? Christian Kane from Angel, which was a spinoff from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then you had, what's the Jake's name? Aldous Hodge or something like that. Anyway, they were a group of individuals, highly skilled set. You know, you had thieves, uh, what they call grifter, and they all banded together and they, you know, would run these cons on really bad people. I mean, it was a good show, but I remember this one episode where this guy, he was, oh, I can't remember what his profession in the show was, but really bad. What's the guy's real name in real life? He's Amalekite. I think his name is Saul Rubenstein or something like that. But they ran a con on him because he had conned them. He had them steal something under the false pretense that they really doing something good, but he conned them and they got him back. And the way they got him back, I'm not going to go into that, but the bottom line is, the guy that played the FBI character, he just told him, he said, the guy, Saul Rubenstein, would tell him, he said, well, you can't do this. You know, he was going at it with the FBI agent. The FBI agent said, sir, because of the Patriot Act, he said, I can take your underwear. And the guy was like, oh, okay, that's going too far. But that's the power that, again, out of fear, they ran a game on you because otherwise you wouldn't have fallen for it. All right? So, because of that, hey, this is what you got now. All right? It says, we bring you this information not to make you angry, but to make you think about who you tell of your preparedness plans and what items you're stockpiling. What did I say about these idiots that go on the internet telling everybody what they got? Boasting and bragging. It says about where you may consider moving your stash to avoid detection, about finding additional ways to feed yourself in times of trouble. A food and water stash won't do you any good if it's confiscated. For the greater betterment of the country, so you ought to take the time now to consider ways to protect what you've built or what you're building. All right. So that speaks for itself. Let's see if I had anything else. Oh, well, let's see. Of course, can't forget this. This is Second Ezra's, because this is the time we're actually already in. All right, let's see here. Oh, okay, here it goes. This is Second Ezra 16:37. I'll start. It says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. What I read in Habakkuk. All right. It says, as when, it said, it will not tarry. It says, as when a woman, verse 38, as a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. All right. O my people, verse 40, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth, because everybody's going to be on the move. All right. Those that are smart, anyway. All right. Think of the Book of Eli, perfect example. All right, these Hollywood producers and everything, guess where they're getting all of this? I just read it to you. All right. It says 41, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. You preppers. All right. Wow. 42, he that occupieth merchandise, as he that hath no profit by it. And he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. You're not supposed to put your faith in all this shit that you're doing. But you do anyway, and you're setting yourselves up. All right. Oh, 43, he that soweth, as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth a vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes. They came down with these executive orders with this in mind. Go ahead and stock up. What did I say at the onset of this video? You did this, and somebody else is going to reap the benefits. Whether it's the government or someone else. See? And this is going all back to what? Matthew. I mean, it's actually going back earlier than that, but I just read in Isaiah, all right? But specifically in the New Testament, Matthew 24, Luke 17, all right? It's telling you. Let's see. There you go. So that's about it on that. Wow. They're making moves, all right? While everybody's like, well, it's going to get better. No. They're telling you all this. Like I said, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. When they shall say peace and safety. And yet, look at all this is happening. All right? It's the people that have been so dumbed down, all right, that still believe in this place. All right? You're going to be hurt the most. Like the least. They don't give a shit. They pulled the plug on this place. All right? In case you didn't know. All right, so that's it with that. I hope whoever sees this is edified as usual. All right. And again, for those in the know, stay prayed up. All right. Because things are, these prophecies are popping off. All right. So with that, once again, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors once again to the apostles of Great Millstone who told me it's true. All right. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth with all sincerity and honesty. All right. In hopes of waking up the remaining elect. All right. So we get the hell up out of this wicked ass kingdom. So with that, Shalom Akim.